Rangers are in the hunt for a new CEO, and I see, as reported across all the media last night when I was asleep, that we are looking at guy Jim Gillespie, who's the assistant at CEO or on the board at St Mirren. He knocked us back about a year ago before we brought in Patrick Stewart. Now, I know the way that Rangers fans work, they'll say, well, he's knocked us back before, I don't want him, which is a very foolish way to look at any player or manager or person of interest at Rangers. The guy, it sounds like, from what I've read, and I've read a lot this morning about him, he's very well thought of. Here's important. He's a Rangers fan. He knows what me and it means to be me and you. Now, people might say, well, why didn't he take the job on before? Well, obviously, these guys operate at a level that's above my station. You know, I'm just a daft mechanic. So, he's well thought of, and the reason he wouldn't have come in is because it didn't suit him, and he saw red flags, I guess is the way to put it, and I don't really like saying that, the Rangers. But remember, when we were looking at a new CEO before Patrick Stewart came in, we were a basket case. There's no other way to put it. There was absolutely no light at the end of the tunnel. So this gentleman didn't want to blight his career. I get that. I totally get that. And maybe it explains why we ended up with a numpty like Patrick Stewart. You know, so that's not a bad thing. Now, we know the chairman was over, Mr Cavenagh has been over in Glasgow a lot recently. And I think at the time we all agreed that one of the main reasons we were here was to, number one, talks with Danny, speak to Danny, you know, and assure him he's got his back. And, you know, Danny says he talks to the chairman every day or every other day, or certainly often, especially right now with the players that will be coming in. So I think the main reason he would have been over was face-to-face talks with Jim. Sit down, talk, you know, and it'll be informal talks. It'll be plans, his plans. You know, that these people operate at a level. Again, it's way above my station. So I think it's very positive, and I don't think it would have been in the media the way it is, unless it was serious. Chris Jack reported it, and if Chris gave you the winning lottery numbers at the weekend, I would believe them. and Chris, if you've got them, you can message me with them, please. So it's, you know, it's a positive thing to get a new CEO in, and it was a position I think where it was not to be rushed, just like a player in a roundabout way, but with a longer gestation period. I think that's the first time I've used that word ever, never mind online, so I don't even know if I've used it correctly. But in fact, I don't think I have. But it's a longer period to get the right guy in. And the same along with, we say we need Rangers players, or Scottish players that know the league at the team, on the pitch, off the pitch, to have a CEO that's a bear. Judging by his accent, he's a Glaswegian, he's a West Coast Glasgow area. Not that matters, but if you're a Rangers fan, you're a Rangers fan, as I'm concerned. It doesn't matter if you live in Timbuktu, Rio de Janeiro, Buenos Aires, like Hernandez, or born and bred in Glasgow. It doesn't matter. I don't like that when people say, oh, anyway. So this is a positive thing. And obviously they'll have sat in what his vision for Rangers would be, what he would want. I mean, obviously his wages will come into it, but what he sees he can do for Rangers, what Rangers need, he'll have told them what Rangers need is. And obviously they see eye to eye. I see he's an executive, or he's high up in a children's charity, which is always a good thing. That means he's got a good heart inside him to do that. It's quite, is exciting the right word? I mean, it's not the same excitement as a player, let's be honest, but we want the right guy to run the Rangers. And a Rangers fan running the day-to-day work of Rangers, making sure everything's right. And here's the thing, Mr Cavenagh, the chairman, going back to what he said the first time he ever addressed the fans back in the day when he first arrived, he said, the only time you'll hear from me is when things aren't going well, or words to that effect. So, and then what happened with those three people, and he had to come in and do basically hands-on day-to-day running of the club. He doesn't want to do that. He just wants to basically be a fan, maybe of a weekly update off of the CEO, or the CEO, isn't it? CEO. He wants to get doesn't want to have to run Rangers. He's got other stuff to do. He wants to fly over and watch watch the games with Bears around the world. He doesn't want to micromanage. That's it. I couldn't get that out there. Micromanage. So, there's a big trust factor here, and it's a big job for this chap, Jim. This is a big job to take on, and it's exciting, and it's an exciting period for us as Rangers fans and him. Would it be his dream job? I'm really not sure how these guys operate, what their dream is, but I would imagine if you'd said to him when he was 16-year-old, just about to go to university, I'm assuming he's a university trained guy, and I forgot to look at that, and say one day you're going to be the CEO of Rangers, and you're like, holy, So I think this is a positive. Again, I'm not really in a position to say whether he's good or bad, but I know this sounds ironic, I like the fact he knocked us back because he didn't. It's almost like he didn't panic and say, "Oh, it's a Rangers job, let's take it." He looked at us and looked under the hood and said, "Nah, you're all right." Whereas now he knows we've got, when I say unlimited funds, we're not going to throw money about, but we know there's plans for Ibrox. He'll have been asked what he would like to see done at Ibrox. What he thinks the fans need, because first and foremost he's a fan, but a fan with a brain. Not like a donut like me. So there we go. It's quite good news. I see there was Andy Newport put up a post about a player, 3.5 million bids in for this chap from Denmark, I think. Should really have wrote his name down. So he did. Andy Newport's quite a reliable guy. No, he's up there with Chris Jack, I feel. Still calm down with the signings thing. I know there's people still saying, "Oh, we need this, we need that, we need this." Rangers know what positions we need. Danny knows. There's absolutely no reason to think that Danny doesn't. If we can say we need a left-sided player, so does Danny. And I like the fact that, like I said, sorry for my nose is running, bloody air conditioning, but I like the fact there's not that much in the media. Not that much in the media. It's a game of poker during the January transfer window, along with it also being hard to sign players. So just hopefully everyone's kind of calming down. I don't want panic buys in, and we're not going to do that. We won't be held to ransom, as I say. But I'm just going to repeat what I said last night. But I'm sitting here. It's what day is it? Thursday. Sunday's a game at Aberdeen. I'm not sure what the weather's like in Aberdeen. I know it can be pretty rough. I've experienced myself many times before I flew offshore, stuck in hotels for a week up at Dice. So I want the game to go ahead, and looking forward to it slightly. People say it'll be a different Aberdeen. I actually, like John rightly said on the pod, it's not that Aberdeen anymore. Yes, our fans will be baying for blood. Will the Aberdeen players get lifted up? Maybe. I mean, it's all there for Connor Barron to score, isn't it? Like the Tremiti scoring at Parkhead. It's written in the stars, or Miovski, one or the other. Hopefully we'll find out in the next day or two what injuries we had, because a couple of the players come off yesterday, or when was it? The other day with injuries. And it didn't look like, thingy went off straight up the tunnel into Diomande. So I don't want any player injured. So hopefully maybe today we'll hear more about a signing, maybe tomorrow. I don't know. I'm not in a panic. But Danny said he said words to the effect of players in by next weekend for the cup game. And the cup game would be good to bring to let players have a run out. And the thing is, with the new signings, any player we want is not going to be a fringe player at a team. It's going to, because if it was, they'd be here already in the 1st of January. Players we want, I'm guessing, are first team starters wherever they are now, so that makes it hard. If it was players that were on the subs bench or just in the pool of players at a team and weren't really, we want a first team starter, they'd be here. So obviously it's always going to be a fight. So I hope you're all in a good place with Rangers. I know I'm sitting absolutely loving. I love getting up in the morning. I love sitting in the sun. It's the back of 8, I think. My watch on. Shut up, dog. It's a cool wee dog though. It's a nice place to be as a Rangers fan right now. Sitting. Things are good. All right. Cheers.